Welcome to Live DAF, your online DAF Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem and welcome back to today's DAF Hayomi Bava Kamma Chaf Beis. We begin 5 lines off the top of the Gemara Hakilav Shanotal, right at the 2 dots. Here comes a famous machlekes itmar we have learned. You know, we all know that Eish, damage by fire, is one of the primary the avos nezikin, right? So the question is, why? Why is a person responsible? How do we define a person's accountability in a case where his fire burnt down the town? Itmar, we have learned, is machlekes, actually how to approach the essence of the av of fire. How do we classify it? How do we label it? Rabbi Yehuda Amar, you know, just like if a person shoots an arrow, his energy, his power, his koyach, he directs a power to be mazik. He's responsible. The same when he lights a fire. The fire is like it's like an extension of the person. It's your doing. It's like your arrow that you're shooting and burning. Like his arrows. But Rish Lakish Amar no. Why is a person responsible for Eish? Because it's like his possession. Rashi learns that the Gemara at this point takes it literally. That it's only chayiv if it really belongs to him. Teshuvos disagrees. He says it's likened to mamoinai. It doesn't actually have to belong to you. You don't have to own that fire, but it's like your possession. It's attributed to you. Okay, you light a fire, it's attributed to you, meaning it's as though it belongs to you, in which case, just like when your animal damages, you pay, when your fire damages, you pay. So Rabbi Yehuda looks at it more personally. It's like a person shooting an arrow. Rish Lakish looks at it more like possession-wise. It's like your mama, like your possession, your belonging, that went out and causes damage. But Rish Lakish, my time alay amak Rabbi Yehuda. Why didn't Rish Lakish agree with Rabbi Yehuda? What was wrong with treating Eish like a chetz, like an arrow? Amar Lach, Rish Lakish responds, big difference. Huge difference between the two. Chetzav mikaycha ka'azli. When you shoot an arrow, it's traveling because of what? Because you put that energy into you put the kayach. It's an expression of your kayach, of your person. Haylav mikaycha ka'azl. Fire just burns. You're not generating that, that burning activity. It just, sort of takes on a life of its own. You can't liken it to a person's arrow. Rather, it's your doing. You created it, so now you're responsible for the fire, which now goes on its own and burns. So that's Rish Lakish's a reason for preferring his approach over Rabbi Yehuda. And likewise, Rabbi Yehuda, my time along with Rish Lakish, why didn't Rabbi Yehuda follow Rish Lakish? Why did he prefer the comparison to an arrow rather to mamay? Amalach, Rabbi Yehuda responds, well, mamayna is be mamasha. One's mamay, one's belonging, one's possession, one's ox, one's animal has tangibility. Of course, you have to look after it. You're responsible for it. But a fire, at least the part that burns, Rashi says the shalheves is, the flame is what burns. It has no mamoshus. It has no tangibility. And therefore, when the Torah holds you responsible, is mechayiv you to pay, it cannot be because this thing now is yours to own, yours to look after, yours to be responsible for it. It's not something tangible to own. Rather, it's because it's compared to chetz, it's your energy, it's your arrow, and therefore you pay for it, for any damages that result. So now, let's go back to our Mishnah, and let's see how it fits with either Shita. We have a story of a dog, right? He grabbed a charara, some, let's say, baked item, which is now coming right off the oven, and it's inundated with some remnants of coals, so it's edible, but it can ignite a fire. And the Mishnah says, the animal consumed the charara, that's an expression of shein, you pay nezek shalim, fully responsible, and it burnt down the city, right? It burnt down the gadish, actually the granary, the place with the grain. So for that you pay only chatzi nezek. Now, this works very well according to Rabbi Yehuda. Fire is like an arrow, so chitzav the kelavu. So just as when you light a fire, it's like your chayitz, your chayiv, your animal lights a fire, or uses a fire to ignite something. It's his extension, it's his chayitz, and so it's like tzureireis, like he would have propelled, a pebble. In which case you pay chatzi nezek. So it all makes sense according to Rabbi Yehuda. According to Rish Lakish, the reason for chiyuv by ish is because it's considered your possession. Well, that's good when you light a fire, but if your dog lights a fire, high ish, this fire here, lava moina de bal kelevu, it's not owned. It wasn't generated by the owner of the dog. It's the dog's fire, not mine. So why am I chayiv? Amach Rish Lakish, you're right, 100%. I'm not responsible for burning down the town. That's the dog's doing, not mine. What happened was that the dog grabbed the charara, right, and tossed it. Tossed it onto the onto the gadish, and it sort of charred something right then and there, and then it went and ignited a fire and spread further. And you're right, I'm not paying for the rest of the fire. That's the dog's mummy, not mine, right? Rather, when the Mishnah says you pay for the charara, nezek shalom, and for the other thing chatzi nezek, it means like this: the charara mishalom nezek shalom, for eating the charara, 100%, fully responsible. And the chatzi nezek, which the Mishnah talks about, is the actual spot that the gecheles landed on. You see, that's my animal's direct doing. It wasn't like he ignited, that the ignition which caused the fire to spread. That I'm not responsible for. Vala gadish kula potter. I'm potter for that. That's my dog's, issue, not mine. Right? The fact that dog generated a fire, instigated a fire which now spread, that's his thing, not mine. The reason why I'm chayiv generally is because my ish is my moment. Here it's his doing, not mine. The chatzi nezek I pay for that spot. Only that one spot which the dog directly burnt by landing the thing on that spot. That's not an ignition, that's actual direct ma'isa of burning. So of course the owner of the dog is chayiv, but only chatzi nezek because it's something unusual that he would do that. That's one pshat in Rashi, or according to another pshat in Rashi, because that's tzureiros, because he threw something and caused damage. That's tzureiros of the dog. So that's Rabbi Yechon's approach to the Mishnah. Rish Lakish. For Rabbi Yechon had a different approach to the Mishnah, because he learns eish is tantamount to chetz. It's sort of an extension of one's personal actions. Right? For Rabbi Yechon de'ancha anuchi, he learns that the dog actually placed. He didn't throw it. He placed it on the gadish. So now al charora val makom gacheles misham nezek shalem. So you pay 100% for the charara that he ate, and the makom where he placed the gacheles, that's direct damage. That's derech. That's biyadayin pay nezek shalem. When the Mishnah speaks about chatzi nezek, it's regarding the rest of the gadish, which got ignited by the eish, which is considered the chait of the kelev, and basically it's the dog's doing, and you're responsible for it. Because that's tzureiros. It's an indirect mazik. So bottom line is, Rabbi Yechon and Rish Lakish both held their own, and they explained the Mishnah according to their approach, whether it's isha mishum chitzav or isha mishum amayne. Tashmai comes another raya regarding this question. We have a Mishnah, go molton pishton. You have a camel loaded with a very flammable load, pishton, flax. V'avar, okay, so it can be easily ignited. V'avar says, Rabbi is walking through the street. Nichnas pishton chanus, and as he's walking by the store, the pishton sort of droops into the store, where there was a candle burning, and it lit up. It got ignited through the nair of the grocer. Now he burnt down the whole neighborhood, whole building, who's responsible? The camel owner provided the firewood, but the fire was supplied by the store owner. Bal Gomel Chayev. The animal owner is responsible because he caused the fire. However, if the store owner had placed his candle outside to attract customers, now the Chenvani is Chayev because he caused trouble. He put the Chenvani outside, and this time he is responsible. Happens to be Ner Chanukah, which is a mitzvah to put it outside. There's a special heter, a special exemption. Then he's pater. Okay, now let's analyze the Mishnah based on the these two approaches regarding the reason for responsibility by Yesh. So according to Rabbi Yechon, Isha is like the chetz. So if a person lights a fire, he's responsible. It's his chetz. Animal lights a fire, it's the chetz of the animal. So here we understand chetz of the gamel. The gamel lit a fire. Gamel ignited the town. The owner of the gamel is responsible for his gamel's doing. According to Shlakish, why are you attributing the fire to the owner of the animal? It's not his fire. Shlakish. So Shlakish answers, we're speaking kula. It's not like the fire was simply ignited by the camel, which then went and spread on its own. The camel directly burnt down the building. So basically the camel's load caught fire, and now the camel sort of walking along and directly spreading the fire. So it's not just traveling on its own. It's directly the animal's doing. Of course, in this case, the owner is responsible, even according to Shlakish. Yehachi says the Gemara Emos Seifa. If that's the case, that is mesachseches, that is sort of directly spreading the fire. The Mishnah continues, so the next case, when the Chenvani put his fire outside, he was responsible. What do you mean? If the animal is actually taking the fire and spreading it around, why are you holding the grocer accountable for that? Mishnah was speaking that the animal stood still. And Rashi explains, he had such a large load, as big as the whole building, and in that case, the grocer, the store owner, is responsible for putting his candle outside. Why? How does that help us? Certainly, it's even more reason to exempt the candle owner and obligate the camel owner. Why? Because if the animal decides to stand still, right, the owner should have quickly prodded him on. Get away from here! You're burning down the building. Amar Rabba wasn't his fault. Mishmei was speaking. The animal refused to move. The animal stopped for a moment to take a washroom stop, and there's no way to move it. It's an oinah, says Rashi. So that explains the Mishnah. The animal stubbornly refuses to move. His load is, despite the fact that his load is catching fire, burning down the building. So now, Reisha Bal Gomel Chayiv. The first case where the candle was inside the store, the animal owner is responsible because the lo yibayli lafushe b'te'ina, he shouldn't have such a big load which sort of reached into the store and ignited by the candle. Seifa. In this next case, where the candle was outside, the store owner is responsible. He asked him to put his candle outside. Thu May comes another raya regarding our discussion. How do we define the mazik of eish? Is it like your chetz or like your mummy? Hamadlik es hagadish. Person ignites the pile of grain. And there was a goat tied to the gadish. Cannot escape. But there was an Evet Kanani nearby. He could have escaped. And the Gdi got burned together with the Gadish, and likewise the Evet died. Chayav. The igniter is responsible in this case. He has to pay for the Gdi, he has to pay for the Gadish. Okay? He's not Chayav Misa, because if he would have killed the Evet directly, he would have been Chayav Misa, and then, when a person's Chayav Misa for doing a certain thing, he's potter from any residual, monetary damages, monetary issues involved, the Misa sort of covers everything. But in this case, not Chayiv Misa. I killed the Eved? No, the Eved should have run away. But in the next case, where the Eved had no choice, he was bound to the spot. Eved kafas loy, ugdi samachla, and the goat was nearby. Everything got burnt together with the Gadish. Potter, totally Potter, because by lighting this Gadish, with the Eved bound to it, he basically killed the Eved. He gets Misa. Even on killing an Eved, you get Misa. Okay, so that's the halach. When you get Misa, you Potter from Mamay. Now, this works according to Rabbi Yehuda. Fire is like your arrow. It's like you were doing. Okay, good. That's why you don't pay for the financial losses, because you're chayiv misa upon killing the Eved almost directly. Eish is not an extension of the person. It's not directly your doing. It's your item. It's your creation that's causing havoc. So am I potter? So why don't you have to pay for the burnt gadish? Just because your fire happened to burn the Eved, it's not directly your doing. You didn't kill the Eved, your fire did it. There's no chiyav misa. Ila katal turi after. Imagine your ox killed an Eved. Are you put to death? Of course not. So is he chayiv misa? In which case he'll be exempt from all monetary issues? Of course not. So what's the answer? Shlagish says, what happened was the Eved was tied down, and he actually ignited the Eved himself directly. It wasn't sort of his fire that spread to the Eved, which would be considered Mamayne, for which you're not Chayiv Misa, but here he directly ignited the Eved. So that's totally different. Like we said in Amar Aleph, when the animal does it, even Rish Lakish agrees, it's a direct action, it's directly your doing. It's considered your fire. Yachis is more remember, so if that's the case, why even discuss it? I mean, he basically killed the Eved. And of course, when you Chayiv Misa, you're part of Gdini Mamanis. Leitzricha must be speaking Begdida Chad Eved Echad. There were two owners. One owned the goat, which was killed, and the Eved was owned by another owner. And the Chiddush is that even though the two separate owners, two separate sort of claims, but since it happened, at once, one act of arson did the entire thing. So the Chiyav Misa preempts the Chiyav Mammon. Tashmai comes another right to our discussion. The person irresponsibly hands a fire to a cheresh, a shaiti v'katan, irresponsible people. Pater medini adam v'chayiv b'din shemayim, burn down the city. You can't be called to Bezdin. After all, I didn't do anything. But in shemayim, they account for it. Now bishlam l'madam eshu b'shem chitzav the chereshu. So according to Rabbi Yehuda, Eish is like your chitz. Right? So in this case, I gave it to the cheresh. I gave it to the deaf mute fellow. It's his chayt. It's not mine. I was negligent. I shouldn't have done this. But in Dinei Mamanis, I didn't actually cause that. I didn't do damage. The cheresh did it. It's his doing. The chiv of Eish is because it's your item. It's your vehicle. Ilu masar shore. The cheresh shayt. Imagine you hand over your animal to an irresponsible person, and it causes havoc. Is the owner not chayiv? Of course he is. So the Eish is it's like your animal. That's why you pater. The answer is we have a discussion on this very Mishnah between Rish Lakish and Rabbi Yehuda in light of their shittas. They both come to explain the Mishnah. When do we say that the sender of the fire is pater? He handed the cheresh a coal, which doesn't have the ability to yet burn down the city, and the cheresh went and got it going. So it's the cheresh's responsibility. Aval masar shall have his chai, but of course, if he gives him a full-fledged fire, a flame of fire, which has the ability to cause damage, of course the fellow who handed it to the cheresh's chai might time a bari azeka, because you're right. It's something which can cause immediate damage. It's like your shur, like the equation we presented. It's like your shur, which you gave to the cheresh. Of course, you have to pay for the damages resulting. Rabbi Yehuda disagrees because he holds that isha mishum chitzay. So it's attributed to the one who's handling it. It's his doing. Now the cheresh is handling it, so I'm potter. I feel a shalheves potter. Even if we gave the cheresh a full shalheves, I'm potter. Why? Because he holds. Safsa the cheresh kagarim. It's the association with the cheresh that burned down the town. The cheresh actually applied the fire and caused the damage. So Rabbi Yehuda is l'shitasai. Rabbi Yehuda is perfectly according to his way of understanding the Eish system. It's attributed to the personal. It's like your chaytz. It's like your energy. It's like your power. It's like your koyach. So ultimately, it's only the one who, the cherish who's handling it, who's actually doing it, not me who gave it to the cherish. So according to Rabbi Yehuda, loy mechayiv ad masrali gavsa silta v'shrag. But there is one case that I'm chayiv, even by handing the fire to the cherish. When I gave him all the tools necessary, I gave him the gavza, firewood, silta, small spindles to ignite the fire of v'shraga, and a candle to light it up. So Rashi says that's a true presheya. I gave him all the tools, all the ingredients. That's really my doing, and I'm fully responsible. Amar Rava. So bottom line is we have machlokes. Is eish considered like an expression of the person? Is it your energy? Is it your kayach, like shooting an arrow? Or is it your possession, like your mammon? You created a vehicle which will now go be mazik. So says Rava, Amar Rava Kro Masnisa, Masayeli the Rabbi Yehuda. I found a pasuk and a brisa, which clearly supports Rabbi Yehudah's approach. That Isha Mishum Chitzav. The Kro, the pasuk is the Chsiv, Kiseitze Ish. The fire will now travel out due to your recklessness. Right? It just went out on its own. You didn't actually directly ignite it. You lit a fire here and suddenly it's gone. It's spreading. And what does the pasuk say? Yishalim hamavers habeira. The one who lit the fire, who ignited the fire, who actually burned down the city, he has to pay. What do you mean? I lit the fire here, it spread on its own. Oh, so you see that the Torah regards it as an expression of the person, a personal ma'aseh. Shmamna isha mishum chitza, because regarded like your arrow. True, you shot it here, but you actually brought it over there and you're chayiv. We find the same thing in a brisa, masnisa, the sanya of a brisa. Pasach akosa b'niskei mamoinai. V'siyah b'niskei gufa. The same idea. The pasuk begins sounding like the eish is like your mammon. You say it's a eish, went out on its own. It's not your personal doing. V'siyah b'niskei gufa. Then the pasuk regards it like your direct ma'aseh of mazik. It says ma'avers habeira. It's your doing. Okay, so how does that work? It teaches us fire is like your arrow. It's attributed directly to the person. Okay, so the bottom line is machlokes, Rabbi Yehuda Mishlakish. How do we define? How do we label eish? Is it an expression of the person? Isha mishum chitzav. Is it isha mishum amoinai? According to Mishlakish. That's enough kaminas, and we discussed several mishnas, and ultimately Rava brought a pasuk and a brisa in support of Rabbi Yehuda. All the best to you and Hatzlacha Rabbah.